everybody, it's Amy Astro here and welcome back to my channel. This video we're going to continue on with our Celestron ROSA series, and I'm going to show you the software needed to get everything up and running as far as their do controller and their focus motor. Okay, I'll show you where to find software on the website. I'll show you about installing it and then using it and connecting it up with either N.I.N.A or Sequence Generator Pro. So, does that sound exciting? If so, stay tuned. Well, welcome back everybody. This week we're going to talk about connecting up the Celestron software so you can use your do controller with your PC and also your focuser. Now we've already shown you how to connect everything with wires, but let's show you how to connect everything electronically. Now I'm over here on Celestron's website. I am on their home page. And I'm going to pretend I don't know where I'm starting from, but I do know that I have their do controller. So I'm going to type in their do controller and see if we can figure out what we need to make everything work together. And I'm going to say this was a little bit tricky for me. I kind of felt like I had to read between the lines. And I ended up doing some research on some other blogs to find out what piece I was missing. But I came over to the do controller and scrolled down. And I went to support and downloads because I believed there needed to be a driver or something that would allow this to talk to my computer. Now, I'm going to open up the manual here because there was no drivers or anything listed for this, and it left me just a little bit confused. So when I read their manual, I found out that you don't need a PC to connect the do controller at all. This can be a freestanding device. You add power to it, it automatically knows to look at the temperature outside, and it calculates your dew point and administers the correct amount of power to your dew heaters on your telescope. So there's nothing you need to do on your part. It's completely automatic. Now, the 4X version of the do controller also comes with power ports, auxiliary ports, and USB ports. You can see them here on their diagrams. Now, these are just pass-throughs. They're hubs. So there's no software needed to run these either, okay? But if we buy a fancy device like this and we're already using a remote laptop to run everything, then why not connect it to the PC and just see what's going on? Well, down in their manual here, they've got a section that says Section 7, Connecting to the PC. Let's go to page 7. I'm going to come down here to page 7, Connecting to the PC. It tells me all about the wiring part. We know that from the last video. And here it says using the controller with the CPWI software. Now this was my first hint that this software even existed. So I went out and I started to search for the CPWI software. Let's go back to their website and we will type in CPWI software. And let's see what comes up there. And of course it comes up with a list of everything. So that search left me a little confused. So then I went over here to the support. Support has to have something. And I came over here to manuals and software. And in here, I said, okay, well, let's go for drivers and software. That seemed like the logical place for me to start hunting. And I came down here and I found Celestron CPWI Software download, which is CPWI. And let's choose it. And you can see that it has downloaded to my computer. Okay, so first I needed that. The second piece I needed, let's back up a page, was for my focus motor that I purchased. Let's see if it's got the focus motor in here. Let's see. It is the USB ASCOM driver for the focuser, which I absolutely want because I do run everything using ASCOM. And then there is also the Celestron Focus utility. And you need this so you can run your calibration. So go ahead and download the USB ASCOM driver for focuser and the Celestron Focuser utility. So that will have us downloading 3 pieces of software, and I want you to go ahead and install all 3 on your computer and just stick with the default values. All right, now that we have downloaded our software, you will see that you should have yourself a desktop icon called the Celestron Focuser utility and the CPWI. If you can't find them, you should be able to find them here in your programs. Probably up top is your most recent, or just search down in your list and you will find them in there. Okay, now let's go straight for the CPWI software. Now this is their all-in-one software that's meant to run their mounts, their focuser, their DO controllers, their star sense, all of those other items. And if you already have Celestron products, chances are you already have this software. But in my case, I did not, and I had to download everything. It comes up with this splash screen. You can say do not show it again, or just go to start. All right, so there's your nice little background. The first thing we want to do is under connection, where it shows you this USB, we're going to mount the USB. And what this should do is it should connect the DO controller and the focus motor for you all in one shot. Now, I did have an issue previously where my COM ports were fighting each other. And let's go to Device Manager just to show you, in case one of them does not connect for you. I want you to come over here and I want you to look at your COM ports, and you should be able to identify by turning on and off a device which COM port is which device. And if by chance you had 2 devices with slightly different names and they both said they were going to COM port 4, you're going to have to rename one of them. And you can do that by right mouse clicking on it, Properties, and Port Settings. And let's see, Drivers, Details. Oh, go to Advanced. And you can change the COM port that it is sitting on, okay? And it shows you which ones are already in use. And this was an issue that I had because I had 2 devices that were fighting for the same COM port, okay? But if you were luckier than I was, both of these items will connect automatically for you. Let's start with the DO heater. It's telling me right now that I'm using 15.3 watts because it is running everything for me. Let's go to the Overview tab. Now this one's pretty slick. It tells me my ambient temperature. It tells me my percent humidity, which is odd because everything is sitting inside the house. So it is rather warm in here thanks to the computer monitors and everything. It tells me my DO heaters. I have set an aggression of 8 because I want to make sure that it warms everything up like it should. And this is actually my DO heater ring on the RASA 8. And the DO heater 2 is a regular DO heater strap, and it's on my guide scope. These other 2 I don't have anything connected to. Now what I missed previously when I was looking at this is there is a scroll bar, and it takes you to show you more. You can also increase the page size, but there's still going to be more. Now see, I can scroll up and scroll down. My DO heaters are first. My variable power, I've got it set at 12 volts, but I could slide it up and down if I needed a different power for that particular device. And I have 3 other powers. And right now, only one device is connected, and it's using 7.7 watts. And that device happens to be the mini PC. Now we come down here, it shows you your USB ports, and I don't have anything connected at the moment. But notice when I hover over here, you got a little pencil. Once you get everything connected and you know what it's hooked up to, then go ahead and change these descriptions. What if I had this connected to, let's see, my pole master. Pole master. And I always connect my pole master to that port, then there it is. And I can turn off that port on and on if I want. Right now, I just leave everything as the default. I leave them all running and available whenever I need them. And this is just really a nice overview of what's going on with the Do controller. Now, I'm going to minimize this back and let's close it. Oh, one more thing. You can see just your power graph if you want, which is kind of neat. It shows you which device is using which item based on color ports here. You can also, let's close this one. You can look at the environmental graph if you want, just the environment. I tend to go to the overview to show everything. And then you've got a settings button here, okay? And this is where I allow a current limit going to the controller of 19 amps. I run things in Celsius. I can calibrate it. And this is calibrating my sensors, and you should do this every so often, especially if you're taking your equipment from inside the air-conditioned house to outside. And this takes a few minutes to run. There's LEDs on the very front side of the Do controller, and you can adjust their brightness to different levels. I have everything down at level 1, just enough so I can see that they're working, but they're not super bright. And you can save your data if you want. But one more thing here. I want to show you on this overview because this got me one time. Now, I had an issue where I had an alert that said, you blew a fuse. And what it wasn't a physical fuse, it was a software fuse. And it came up with an error message on one of these power ports here, and it literally went red. So you can reset it by clicking on it and it will reset the device for you. And this could be something silly as you just unplugging something really quick and it didn't like how you did it. If you find out that one of your devices are not getting power and it is plugged up to your Do controller, scroll down in this list and see if any of these have blown fuses. Remember, it's just software, not a physical fuse, and you can reset it right here. Now let's go over to the focuser and let's look at the control panel. This tells me that I am set up at 13,861. Now your rate is the speed that it will move the focuser in and out. You also can do it here manually with just a little nudge. And calibration. Now, one of the very first things you're going to have to do just to get this thing up and running is you're going to have to run the focuser calibration. So if this is your first time out, go ahead and hit begin and you will hear your focuser racking in and out. It is a bit noisy. It's not a quiet item, but don't be shocked when you hear it. It is working. It's just the gears inside of it, okay? And we're going to close that up. But really, it was just that easy. I downloaded the ASCOM driver. I downloaded the Celestron CPWI Software. And just for good measure, I downloaded the Celestron Focuser right here where I can see everything in another panel, but you can do everything you need in the CPWI. Now, if I didn't have it already hooked up in CPWI, I would choose Connect, and I would begin a focus routine. And this has to be done the very first time you use the focuser. Now, I'm talking the first time you load the software and you hook everything up, or if you see things are just going a little bit wonky. You don't have to do this every time you go out. All right, now I have my Do controller and my focuser connected to the CPWI. but I'm not using that as my capture software. Now, if I was going to use Sequence Generator Pro, let's say, or N.I.N.A, it's the same concept, okay? I'm going to show you how you have to hook things up here. All right, I'm just going to show you from their sequence menu here, but Focuser, you'll see I've got CPWI Focuser all set up, and you will find that in the pull down menu. Now there is a Celestron USB focuser and the focuser driver. I found my best option was to use the CPWI focuser. And that was all I had to do, because the Do controller is not operated here in Sequence Generator Pro. It's operated back in the CPWI, and pretty much you open the program, you connect it, you minimize it, and then you forget it for the rest of the night because it's going to do its thing, okay? So you don't have to worry about it. Now, what if you wanted to connect it in N.I.N.A? Let's open up N.I.N.A. It's been a while since I've opened this software. And that's not me saying anything bad about this software, because it is truly a terrific software, especially for the price level. But please, if you use this software and you love this software, consider giving those guys a slight donation, because they put a lot of hard work and effort into making this software for everybody. All right, so now that I've got their main screen, let's go to Focuser. And last time I was using a Pegasus focuser, but I bet you if I pull it down in this menu, look at there, CPWI focuser, and voila, that's all I had to do. I'm done. I'm ready to start running this program like I always did. All right, easy to do. Well guys, as you can see, that was really easy to do. You know, it just takes a few minutes to set up, everything was seamless, and it worked exactly like it was supposed to. It just took a few minutes for me to locate the appropriate software on their website and find the keyword that was required, and that was the CPWI. Now, if you're familiar with Celestron, you already have their mount and such, you're fully aware of that software. But me not having used Celestron before, it was new to me. So maybe that might be something good for them to add to their website, you know, on each product that could link up to that software, and let us know that. But I was able to dig down into the manual and locate the software name, found it, got things up and running. All right, it's just that easy. Well guys, thank you so much for following me and hanging out with me today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these videos with all your Astro friends. I've got some great ideas for you guys in the future. I'm hoping to get some more observatory tours out there. If you have an observatory out near me, now you guys know if you live near me or not, reach out to me and let me know if I can tour your observatory, because I'm pretty sure the world would love to see what you're doing and your creativity on how you view the stars. Well guys, I'm Amy Astro. I'm wishing you guys some great health, clear skies, and I will see y'all in the next video. Goodbye, y'all.